Hi, this is the third video in the series for example sums where the issue is oversubscribed. Let's go to the example sum. Example sum: KT Limited issued 60,000 shares of rupees 10 each at a premium of rupees 2 per share, payable as rupees 3 on application, rupees 5 including premium on allotment, and the balance on first and final call. Applications were received for 82,000 shares. The directors resolved to allot as follows. Category A, applicants of 30,000 shares were allotted 20,000 shares. Category B, applicants of 50,000 shares were allotted 40,000 shares. And Category C, applications of 2,000 shares were rejected. Ramesh, who had applied for 900 shares in Category A, and Suresh, who was allotted 600 shares in Category B, failed to pay the allotment money. We are asked to pass the necessary journal entries in the books of the company up to the stage of allotment. So we'll begin by preparing the table, which is working note number 1. On the extreme right hand corner, we will write the breakup, application, allotment, and final call. The share has a face value of rupees 10 and it's issued at a premium of rupees 2 per share. So the issue price is 12 rupees, which we will write as 10 plus 2. Amount payable on application is 3 rupees. On allotment, it's rupees 5 including premium, so it's 3 plus 2. And the balance on first and final call, the balancing figure will be 4 rupees on first and final call. We'll go ahead with preparing the table. First column is category. Number of shares applied, number of shares allotted, application, money received, application transferred to share capital, refund, allotment, money due, excess, application transferred to allotment, and the final column, bank to allotment. Category A, 30,000 shares applied, against which 20,000 shares are allotted. Category B, 50,000 shares applied, against which 40,000 shares are allotted. And the last category C, 2,000 shares applied, which has been rejected, so nil under number of shares allotted. Let's check out the total. Total of number of shares applied is 82,000, and it matches with the question which says applications were received for 82,000 shares. Number of shares allotted 60,000 shares total, which is equal to the number of shares which has been issued by KT Limited. We'll go on to complete the table. Application money received. We'll finish category A first. 30,000 shares applied multiplied by 3 rupees per share, 90,000 rupees. Application money transferred to share capital. 20,000 shares allotted multiplied by 3 rupees per share, 60,000 rupees. There is no refund in this category. The allotment money due, 20,000 shares allotted multiplied by 5 rupees per share, 1 lakh rupees. Excess application transfer to allotment. Excess application money is 90,000 minus 60,000, which is 30,000 rupees. Therefore, bank to allotment is 1 lakh money due on allotment minus transfer of application to allotment 30,000 rupees, which is 70,000 rupees. Let's move to category B. Application money received 50,000 shares multiplied by 3 rupees per share, 1,50,000 rupees. Application money transferred to share capital, 40,000 shares allotted multiplied by 3 rupees per share, 1,20,000 rupees. Again, there is no refund. Allotment money due, 40,000 shares allotted multiplied by 5 rupees per share, 2 lakh rupees. Excess application transferred to allotment. The excess application money in category B is 1,50,000 rupees minus 1,20,000 rupees, which is 30,000 rupees. And bank to allotment is 2 lakh rupees minus 30,000 rupees, which is 1,70,000 rupees. Last category. Application money received. Number of shares applied 2,000 shares multiplied by 3 rupees per share, 6,000 rupees. No shares are allotted, therefore application money transferred to share capital is nil. The refund amount is 6,000 rupees and all the other columns are dash. Let's complete totaling the columns. Total of application money received is 2,46,000 rupees. Total of application money transferred to share capital 1,80,000 rupees. The total of the refund column is 6,000 rupees. Total of allotment money due column is 3 lakh rupees. Total of application money transferred to allotment column 60,000 rupees. And the total of the bank to allotment column is 2,40,000 rupees. So we've completed the first working note. Let's move on to the second working note. Working note 2. Working note 2 will be, it says here Ramesh, who had applied for 900 shares in category A, failed to pay the allotment money. So let's calculation of allotment money not paid by Ramesh. Ramesh belongs to category A. Now we have information about the number of shares applied. So we need to take the number of shares applied column in category A. So shares applied is the first column to take. And since we need to find out the amount of allotment money not paid by Ramesh, the other column we will take is bank to allotment. Under category A, for 30,000 shares applied, the amount of allotment money payable is 70,000 rupees. Therefore, in the case of Ramesh, who has applied for 900 shares, allotment money payable by Ramesh is 900 multiplied by 70,000 divided by 30,000. We get rupees 2,100 as the allotment money which was payable by Ramesh but has not been paid by him. Next, working note 3, calculation of allotment money. Not paid by Suresh. It's given that Suresh belongs to category B. The information available is the number of shares allotted to Suresh. So we'll take the shares allotted column of category B and bank to allotment column of category B. Against 40,000 shares allotted, amount payable on allotment is 1,70,000 rupees. Therefore, in the case of Suresh, who has been allotted 600 shares, the amount which is payable on allotment is 600 multiplied by 1,70,000 rupees divided by 40,000 rupees. It's 150 rupees multiplied by 17, which comes up to 2,550 rupees. So the total money not received on allotment is 2,100 plus 2,550, which is equal to 4,650. And on subtracting 4,650 from 2,40,000 rupees, we get 2,35,350 rupees as the amount which is received on allotment. So we've completed the working notes. We'll go ahead to prepare the journal entries. Solution. In the books of KT Limited, journal. We have date/serial number, particulars, LF number, debit rupees, and credit rupees. The first journal entry is for receipt of application money. Bank account debit to share application account for share application money received. The amount is the answer of the fourth column, rupees 2,46,000. The next journal entry is at the time of allotment of shares, share application account debit. The answer of the first journal entry, 2,46,000 rupees. 2. Share capital account. Answer of the fifth column, application transferred to share capital, 1,80,000 rupees. 2. Share allotment account. Answer of the eighth column, excess application money transferred to allotment, 60,000 rupees. And 2. Bank account. The amount of money refunded, the answer of the refund column, which is the sixth column, 6,000 rupees. For share application money, utilized and balance refunded. Third journal entry is to make the allotment money due along with the premium, share allotment account debit to share capital account. To securities premium reserve account. For allotment money due, amount against share capital is the number of shares allotted, which is 60,000 shares, multiplied by the amount of allotment money towards share capital per share, which is 3 rupees, comes up to 1,80,000 rupees. And in the case of securities premium reserve, 60,000 shares multiplied by 2 rupees per share, that's 1,20,000 rupees. And again, share allotment account, the total, which is 60,000 shares multiplied by 5 rupees per share, 3 lakh rupees. The fourth journal entry is for the allotment money received, bank account debit to share allotment account. For allotment money received. This is the answer of the last and final column, the ninth column, after subtracting the calls and arrears where Ramesh and Suresh have not paid the amount. So we have the amount of allotment money received is 2,35,350 rupees. The question has asked us to pass the journal entries only up to the stage of allotment, which we have completed. We'll view all the journal entries together. I'll remove the split. So these are the first 3 journal entries. And this is the last journal entry. Let's go to the next example sum. Example sum. VT Limited issued rupees 10 lakh shares of rupees 100 each at a premium of rupees 20 for subscription payable as rupees 10 per share on application, rupees 50 per share on allotment including rupees 10 premium, and rupees 60 per share on first and final call including rupees 10 premium. Overpayments on application were to be applied towards the amount due on allotment, and overpayments on application exceeding the amount due on allotment was to be returned. Issue was oversubscribed to the extent of 13,000 shares. Applications for 12,000 shares were allotted only 1,000 shares, and applicants for 2,000 shares were sent letters of regret. All the money due on the allotment and the final call was duly received. Pass the necessary journal entries in the company's books to record the above transactions. So now it's a case of oversubscription of shares. The total applications received, it says here issue was oversubscribed to the extent of 13,000 shares. So the company has issued 10,000 shares. It says rupees 10 lakh shares, and the face value of each share is rupees 100. So the number of shares issued by the company is 10,000 shares. Rupees 10 lakh divided by rupees 100, which is 10,000 shares. And since the issue has been oversubscribed to the extent of 13,000 shares, the number of applications received is for 10,000 plus another 13,000 shares, which is 23,000 shares. Now, after adjusting the amount due for the allotment, the excess application money is to be refunded and not adjusted towards the calls, because that's what the first sentence in the second para says. And overpayments on application exceeding the amount due on allotment was to be returned. So our table in the working note will have only 9 columns. So let's go ahead and prepare the first working note. Let's write the breakup on the right corner. We have 10,000 shares issued, 23,000 shares applied, the amount payable on application is 10 rupees. Amount payable on allotment is rupees 50 including rupees 10 premium, which is 40 rupees plus 10 rupees. And the amount which is payable on the final call is rupees 60 including 10 premium, which is 50 plus 10. So the issue price is equal to rupees 100 plus rupees 20, or in other words rupees 120. So let's fill up the table. The first column is category. Second column, number of shares applied. Third column, number of shares allotted. Fourth column, application money received. Next, application transferred to share capital. Refund, allotment money due, excess application transferred to allotment, and the last column, bank to allotment. The total of the number of shares applied column is 23,000 shares, and the total of the number of shares allotted column should be 10,000 shares. Let's fill up the categories. In the first category, it says applications for 12,000 shares were allotted only 1,000 shares. So against number of shares applied, we'll have 12,000, and in that category, number of shares allotted is 1,000 shares. The second category, applicants for 2,000 shares were sent letters of regret. So number of shares applied in the second category, 2,000, against which no shares are allotted. The third category is the balancing figure. The balancing figure in the number of shares applied column is 23,000 shares minus 14,000 shares, which is 9,000 shares. And against the number of shares allotted column, it's 10,000 shares minus 1,000 shares, which is again 9,000 shares. So this third category is full allotment. So let's complete the table. The application money received in the first category, 12,000 shares applied multiplied by 10 rupees per share, 1,20,000 rupees. Application transferred to share capital, 1,000 shares allotted multiplied by 10 rupees per share, 10,000 rupees. We'll come back to the refund column. The allotment money due, 1,000 shares allotted multiplied by 50 rupees per share, including the premium. So it's 50,000 rupees. Excess application money available is 1,20,000 rupees minus 10,000, which is 1,10,000 rupees. But we need only 50,000 rupees for allotment, and the balance will be refunded. So 1,10,000 excess application money totally minus the amount adjusted towards allotment, rupees 50,000, is 60,000 rupees refunded. Bank to allotment in the first category will be nil. Let's go on to the second category. Application money received, 2,000 shares applied multiplied by 10 rupees per share, 20,000 rupees. There will be no application money transferred to share capital because it's rejection of shares, and the amount which will be refunded is 20,000 rupees. All the other columns will be nil. Let's go to the third category of full allotment. Application money received is number of shares applied, 9,000 shares multiplied by 10 rupees per share, which is 90,000 rupees. Application transferred to share capital, 9,000 shares allotted multiplied by 10 rupees per share, 90,000 rupees. There is no amount to be refunded. The allotment money due is 9,000 shares multiplied by 50 rupees per share due on allotment, which is 4,50,000 rupees. There is no excess application money that can be transferred to allotment, and the bank to allotment figure is 4,50,000 rupees. Let's total up the columns. Total of application money received is 2,30,000 rupees. Total of application money transferred to share capital 1 lakh rupees. Amount refunded 80,000 rupees total. Amount of allotment money due total 5 lakh rupees. Excess application transferred to allotment column total 50,000 rupees and bank to allotment column total 4,50,000 rupees. We finished the working note. Next, let's go ahead with the solution of passing the journal entries. Solution. In the books of VT Limited, journal, we have date/serial number, particulars, LF number, debit rupees, and credit rupees. First journal entry for receipt of application money, bank account debit to share application account for application money received. Amount is the total of the fourth column, 2,30,000 rupees. Second journal entry at the time of allotment, share application account debit the amount of the first journal entry, 2,30,000 rupees, to share capital account amount is the total of the fifth column, 1 lakh rupees, to share allotment account the amount is the total of the eighth column, 50,000 rupees, and to bank account for the amount refunded, which is the total of the sixth column, 80,000 rupees. Narration for application money utilized for 10,000 shares and balance refunded. The next entry, at the time of allotment, the allotment money becomes due along with the premium. Share allotment account debit to share capital account to securities premium reserve account for allotment money including premium due. Again, share capital account, the number of shares allotted totally, which is 10,000 shares, multiplied by the portion of allotment money towards share capital, 40 rupees per share, comes up to 4 lakh rupees. Against security premium reserve account, 10,000 shares multiplied by 10 rupees per share as the allotment premium comes up to 1 lakh rupees. And the total against share allotment is 10,000 shares multiplied by 50 rupees per share, rupees 5 lakh. The fourth entry is for the allotment money received, bank account debit to share allotment account for allotment money received. The amount is the total of the ninth column after adjusting for excess application money. It is 4,50,000 rupees. The fifth journal entry is to make the share first and final call due along with the premium. Share first and final call account debit to share capital account to securities premium reserve account for final call money due. Amount against share capital account, 10,000 shares allotted by the company multiplied by 50 rupees per share. Amount of final call towards share capital, 5 lakh rupees. And against security premiums reserve, 10,000 shares multiplied by premium on final call, which is 10 rupees per share. Total 1 lakh rupees. And against share first and final call account, 10,000 shares multiplied by 60 rupees per share comes up to 6 lakh rupees. The last journal entry is for receipt of the final call, bank account debit to share first and final call account for first and final call money received. As per the problem, the entire amount due has been received on the final call. So amount received is 6 lakh rupees. We've completed the entries. I'll remove the split. We can view the journal entries all together. So that's the table at the top part of the working notes, followed by the journal entries. The first screen, and the second screen. Let's go on to the next example sum. Example sum. SN Limited issued 60,000 shares of rupees 10 each at a premium of rupees 2 per share, payable as rupees 3 on application, rupees 5 including premium on allotment, and the balance on first and final call. Applications were received for 92,000 shares. The directors resolved to allot as follows. In the first category, applicants of 40,000 shares are allotted 30,000 shares. In the second category, applicants of 50,000 shares are allotted 30,000 shares. And in the third category, applicants of 2,000 shares are not allotted any shares, so they are rejected. Mohan, who had applied for 800 shares in category 1, and Sohan, who was allotted 600 shares in category 2, failed to pay the allotment money. Calculate the amount received on allotment. So the question, we need to be careful. The question does not ask us to pass any journal entries. We are just asked to determine the amount which has been received on allotment. So let's first prepare the working note. Working note 1. We'll write the breakup in the right corner. On application, it's 3 rupees. On allotment, rupees 5, including 2 rupees premium. So that's 3 plus 2 rupees. And the balance on the final call. Total issue price, rupees 10 plus 2 rupees premium. So the balancing figure for the final call will be rupees 4. We'll fill in the columns. First one, category. Next one, number of shares applied. Third column, number of shares allotted. Application, money received. Application, money transferred to share capital. Next column is refund. Then allotment, money due. After that, excess application transferred to allotment. And the final column, bank to allotment. The total of the number of shares applied column should be 92,000 shares, and the total of the number of shares allotted column is equal to the number of shares issued, which is 60,000 shares. We'll begin with the first category. For 40,000 shares applied, number of shares allotted is 30,000 shares. In the second category, for 50,000 shares applied, number of shares allotted is 30,000 shares. And the final category, it's rejection. Against 2,000 shares applied, none has been allotted. So let's complete the table. We'll begin with the first category. Application money received, 40,000 shares applied multiplied by 3 rupees per share, 1,20,000 rupees. Application money transferred to share capital, 30,000 shares allotted multiplied by 3 rupees per share, 90,000 rupees. There will be no refund. Allotment money due, 30,000 shares allotted multiplied by 5 rupees per share, 1,50,000 rupees. Excess application, which is transferred to allotment, is 1,20,000 rupees minus the 90,000 rupees, which is 30,000 rupees. And bank to allotment in category 1 is 1,50,000 rupees minus 30,000 rupees, which is 1,20,000 rupees. Let's go on to category number 2. Application money received, Number of shares applied 50,000 multiplied by 3 rupees per share, 1,50,000 rupees. Application money transferred to share capital, 30,000 shares allotted multiplied by 3 rupees per share, 90,000 rupees. There will not be any refund. The allotment money due is 30,000 shares multiplied by 5 rupees per share, 1,50,000 rupees. Excess application which is transferred to allotment is 1,50,000 minus 90,000 rupees, which is 60,000 rupees. And the bank to allotment figure is 1,50,000 minus 60,000 rupees, which is 90,000 rupees. And the final category, rejection. Application money received is 2,000 shares multiplied by 3 rupees per share, which is 6,000 rupees. There will be no application money transferred to share capital and the refund amount is 6,000 rupees. All the other columns are nil. Let's go ahead with totaling the columns. The total of application money received is 2,76,000 rupees. Total of application money transferred to share capital 1,80,000 rupees. Total of the refund column is 6,000 rupees. Total of the allotment money due column is 3 lakh rupees. Total of excess application transferred to allotment column is 90,000 rupees. And the total of the bank to allotment column is 2,10,000 rupees. So next, let's go ahead with the working note 2. Calculation of allotment money not paid by Mohan. Says Mohan belongs to the first category. The information we have is the number of shares applied by Mohan. So we'll take the number of shares applied column and the bank to allotment column. In category 1, for 40,000 shares applied, the amount payable is rupees 1,20,000, the amount payable on allotment. Therefore, for Mohan, who has applied for 800 shares, he would have had to pay on allotment the amount 800 multiplied by 1,20,000 rupees divided by 40,000. Comes up to rupees 2,400. Let's go to working note 3, calculation of allotment money not paid by Sohan. Sohan belongs to category 2. We have information about the number of shares allotted to Sohan. So we'll take the number of shares allotted column and the bank to allotment column. In category 2, against 30,000 shares allotted, a person has to pay 90,000 rupees on allotment. Therefore, Sohan, who has been allotted 600 shares, will have to pay 600 multiplied by 90,000 divided by 30,000. Comes up to rupees 1,800. So the amount which has not been paid by Mohan is rupees 2,400 and the amount which is not paid by Sohan is rupees 1,800. So less 2,400 plus 1,800 rupees, which is 4,200 rupees. Therefore, the amount which is received on allotment is rupees 2,10,000 minus 4,200 rupees, which is 2,05,800 rupees. So the answer to the question for allotment money received, the final answer is rupees 2,05,800.